A Section J report is required when applying for a construction certificate for a commercial building, but it seems not all Section J reports are the same. We'll have a look in this video as to why that might be, and also we'll look at what you should expect in a Section J report. A Section J report is really designed to be read by two different readers. The first one is the certifier, who wants to see that compliance has been achieved. And the second reader is the client, who just wants to know what they have to do to comply. Often when applying for a construction certificate, a simple BCA style report is prepared, which is sufficient for the certifier at that point. This type of report identifies the Section J clause relevant to the project but doesn't include any assessment. You might see wording like, "This clause applies, confirmation to the certifying authority within the construction documentation is required." So this report example identifies the clauses as applying, but leaves the how it should be complied with to the future. This may be enough for the construction certificate, but it's not best practice. The report should have the assessment included in order to know how compliance will be achieved. This way, everyone is confident that the building will comply. Without the full assessment, there may be compliance issues that don't come to light until it's too late. In another example, a simple style report will quote values, such as the required insulation values or the U and the SHGC values, without showing the workings. Any report that doesn't show the workings cannot be peer reviewed. And even if there's no peer review, the certifier has no way to see the methodology used in arriving at the quoted values. The report may even be rejected on that basis. So what should be in a Section J report? Well, firstly, there should be some basics: the address, the project, and description of the scope of work. It should state the version of the code that's applicable and include document control. Secondly, a summary of the items that are required to be done to achieve compliance based on the assessment that follows should be included, and that's very useful for the client who's really focused on just knowing what they need to do. It should include a BCA pathway, a compliance pathway. It should include the assessment itself, and then there might be a lot of detailed information like calculations and the definition of the thermal envelope for that project that might be in an appendix, for example. So that's broadly what needs to be in a report, but it might be helpful if we look at a practical example. These items can be put together in a number of different ways, but I'll use one of our projects to illustrate this as an example. So let's have a look at an example report. This is one of ours. This is the first page of the report. Already there's quite a bit of information there. There's project description, the address, the building code edition, the date, the edition number, and our contact details. So there's quite a bit just on the first page. Our second page is devoted to the document control box, and you can see here that there's actually 3 additions. So every time the design changed, it needed an updated assessment. So that's all described here, what each edition updated. Then we move straight on to the executive summary. And this is the spot that is really devoted to the client. They can see in one clear place all the things that they need to do to comply. And all of these items have dropped out of the assessment that comes a bit later. You'll see that in a minute. That's all collected here, and often clients really just focus on that. And here's another page. This actually goes for many pages, and you can see Section J is quite a comprehensive part of the code. There's a lot in it, so it's good to have this one spot where everything's listed. At the end of our executive summary, we also have a table that comes out of the assessment and summarises everything to do with the fabric assessment. And that's the biggest part of the assessment, is the fabric. You can see down the left-hand column, it lists all the items that need to be complied with. And in the middle, we've got two columns. The left column sets up the threshold requirement the code is requiring, and then the right-hand column shows what we've managed to achieve. So for example, the first one is the roof, and the code requirement is to achieve a system value for the roof ceiling system of R3.7. So after we've looked at the materials and the way the roof has been designed and then the added insulation, we've achieved R3.8. So we've complied. And something similar is done for each of those line items. Then we move into the assessment. We repeat some of the information from the front page, the description of the project. We look at the building classification, the climate zone, the designer, and a list of all the drawings that we've relied on to do this assessment. What follows here is the compliance pathway. So we've recorded our response or a statement against each item under J1, J2 and J3. And then we reach J4, which is the beginning of the actual assessment. J4 is the fabric section. You can see some of the calculations are coming into the assessment here. They've come from the assessment, recorded into the report, and the actual detail behind those calculations will be found in the appendix in a moment. And then in the appendix, the first part of this project was defining the thermal envelope and areas of insulation. And as a thermal envelope is a three-dimensional idea, we've also marked up the section drawings to show how the thermal envelope covers the roof and the walls and the floor. And then the rest of the appendix has got the detail of the calculations. So that's quite detailed. The last one there is the calculations for lighting. So that gives you an example of what should be in a Section J report. It's an example of how we look at it. There's probably a few different ways that can be put together, but hopefully that example is helpful to you. So thanks again for sticking through the video till now, and I hope it's been helpful.